Hey guys, it's at K Deuces, your sports bet queen. We are back with another episode of the Crooks and Books podcast, but we have a very special guest who I have anticipated for this week's show, and it can't come soon enough. Obviously, after Thursday Night Football, we'll talk about that in a minute. We have Jason Jarvis. Hello.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on. And then obviously we have the rest of the crew, Big Pick Brad,
What's going on, everybody?
Prado the Pointer,
Howdy.
and Caleb. Ken
What's going
Johnson.
on, yo? Ken Johnson in the house. What's up?
All right. So Jason, follow him at JJarv NFL Bets. Did I get that right? I
You
hope I
got it.
Perfect. And then jasonjarvisnfl.com. I'm going to give you the intro that I want to give you, then you can give your own, I guess, because
That
it's my
sounds
show.
good.
So he's one of the greatest to ever do it. I guess, there's not so many in this world, and that's something that I would say for myself, even though it is my show. I don't say that very often about people that come on here, but he is definitely one of those people. And I'll let you say the rest, but I also think that you are awesome. Thanks for coming on, and thanks to Tom for introducing us. So tell us a little bit about what you've been doing, what you have done, and all this other stuff that you're in with Circa.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. It's funny because this is still something I do for fun. I am in sales and have been for the last 22 years. But prior to that, I worked at ESPN out of college, spent 5 years there, made some great relationships. But I was happy to get the hell out and find a real job that actually paid some money. Um, So, I don't know how much detail you want, but it's actually funny because I met Greg Stevens, who's the owner of the Circa, he and his brother Derek, who I know you know as well.
Yes.
Um, and I met him on a flight coming back from Vegas one night, and he's like, "Ah, what brings you to town?" I didn't know who he was. I'm like, "Let's see. I love to eat good food,
Hmm.
drink good booze, smoke cigars, golf, gamble my face off, rinse and repeat."
Sounds
And
like a
he's like,
perfect
"Man,
life right there.
It is.
He's like, man, I love guys like you. And, I'm like, well, what's that supposed to mean? He's like, nothing. My brother and I own a few casinos, and I think I had whiplash of my neck to figure out who I was talking to
You're
my
like,
right
who?
ear. Right. We're in first class, but I'm like, we're
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
a casino and flies commercial here, but that's
yeah.
just how those guys are. So, he was, I ended up getting into the Circa Millions. The first year, so actually taking a step back, I
Mhm.
did the Westgate contest, the super contest the year before, and I did it with one
Okay,
of my
before Circa, before you
correct.
did Circa. Okay.
I did it with one of my college buddies, one of my best friends, and we absolutely shit the bed. We had a great time. We had a great time going back and forth in the games each week. But you know, Jack was he had one team in mind. I had the other, and
Oh my
let's just say
God.
we didn't have a good year. So
So you're
I
like,
decided,
ugh.
no, so I decided I was going to do the millions on my own, and that was in 2021. I ended up coming in fourth place. I missed winning it all by one game, and I had the tiebreaker. So it was a heck of a run. Um,
That
You
was.
remember that game?
there were a few. You know what? I do, and it was actually week 17 and not week 18. It
Okay.
was it was
Yeah, 2021, right?
yeah, it was the Eagles, and I'm still going to call them the Redskins. And
Fair enough.
Riverboat Ron was the coach. The line
Yep.
opened at 6, and it closed at 3.5 for the
Oh,
contest.
yeah, I
And I
remember.
really loved Washington that week. I knew the public and everyone was going to be all over Philly, and they were. So in the contest, I was the only one in the top 50 who had Washington. And there were 12 or 13 guys who had Philly. So it was kind of like a double value game for me.
Oh
That
Hmm.
yeah,
was,
half the field or most
Yeah.
of the field
Yeah.
goes the other way.
yeah. So I don't know if you guys even remember this, and there's no reason you should, but since it cost me a lot of money, I certainly do. Uh, so Philly was trailing 9-0 at the half. I'm in great spot. They come
Mhm.
back, take the lead 10-9. There's 7 minutes left. It's still 10-9. Washington has the ball on their own 45 with all three timeouts, and it's 4th and 6. And this is before 2025, where everyone goes for it on fourth down.
Yeah.
Rivera goes for it, but not only does he go for it, he
I
does
think
a
I remember that.
he does a 2 yard out. And the receiver drops the ball, but he was going to get tackled and be 4 yards short anyhow. So Philly goes, drives down the field 20 yards, kicks a field goal to go up 13-9, now covering by a half. Washington marches all the way down the field. fourth and goal from the 5 or 10, and needless to say, they didn't score on that fourth down, and that was pretty much the end of my chance to win the millions.
Yeah.
But
Damn.
so funny though, the next year, um, I come back and I finished in the top 10%. So the year I came in fourth, I was 69% on the year. The
Yes, you
following
were.
year,
Yeah.
I think I was 56, 57%. I don't remember exactly.
Then you went back up.
I'm sorry.
Then you went back up to 60, up to
Well,
66, you said.
right. So then in 2023, I ended up finishing in 10th, which was a little bit bittersweet because,
Mhm.
you miss a shot at winning the millions, winning the jacket by one game, and you figure that might be a once in a lifetime opportunity. And there I am 2 years later, and going into the last weekend, I was in third place.
See,
So
that's why you were one of the greatest. I mean, look at it. Highest documented win percentage in any Circa Millions entry over the last 5 years.
this
And the
is
only
true.
person to ever place top 10 twice. I mean, that's already hard enough in itself, but two times, like, dude, come on.
Yeah, it was cool. And I'm hoping for, it's the odd years. I'm hoping for another one this year. I've got three entries.
You're like the Giants with the even years.
Exactly.
10, 12, 14.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's tough. I go to Circa now, and Derek wants to introduce me to everyone as the best
Yeah.
NFL handicapper in the planet. And it's very humbling, and it's
But you're
it's also
like,
quite an honor. But man, talk about putting more pressure on me. Yeah, so
Pressure.
I was in the Friday Night Invitational last year, and I did not do well.
oh
I'm
yeah,
a
so let's talk about that a little bit. So
Sure.
Circa Friday Night Invitational, you're currently in second place, trailing your former deck hockey teammate, Chris the Bear,
That's it.
with Fox Sports. So tell us a little bit about tell the people or the listeners about the Circa Friday Night Invitational, what that's about, etc.
Yeah, so the invitational's been going on. I'm not sure if this is the fourth or fifth year, but it's been going on for at least a few years now. Derek Stevens is very generous, puts up 25, $30,000 of his own money, and it's an invitational where they invite what they consider 25 of the top handicappers in the country. It's different than the millions because it's a combination of college and NFL, and you're
Wow.
also allowed to pick totals. It's not just
Right,
spreads.
yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's
That's
awesome, but for a guy who really
I know.
focuses on the NFL, it's a bit of a nightmare because,
Yeah.
instead, we were chatting about this earlier. You have a week where maybe there's 6 teams on bye, and then you've got the
Mhm.
Thursday night game, which doesn't qualify. I'm left with, maybe 12 games, and I've got to come up with 7 picks on those. So
Yeah. Yeah.
challenging. I've used some college plays this year, which is definitely not my forte, and I'm a game under 500. But anyhow, getting back to the contest, it's 25 handicappers, um, usually chosen by Matt Humans and Derek Stevens, and I'm not sure who else chimes in on them. So I got into it last year. I did not do well. I wasn't one of the first two cut, but I wasn't too far behind. And I'm very open about my strategy in terms of handicapping, and I'm very much a dog player.
Mhm.
Um, I look at my numbers and I see where I'm at, and I'm about 80% dogs when I put my plays in. Um, I'm actually proud because this year you mentioned I'm in second, and I'm a game and a half behind Felica. Chris and I did work at ESPN 25 years ago. He was a researcher, and I
And
was the
you look
studio.
so young.
What's that?
I said, and you look so young. Everyone
Oh,
that
yeah.
gambles looks younger when
I
they
don't know
feel
about
so
that.
old inside.
It must be the image here I put on my
Yeah, there you go.
The
Filter.
filter.
Go on. Sorry.
So no, it's just great. So this year in the million, or excuse me, this year in the Friday Night Invitational, um, you know, it's something I'm kind of proud of because there's been 63 plays so far. And if I use the invitational, for example, I'm 10-3 this year when I use either a favorite or a pick 'em.
Hmm.
So I kind of feel like my ability to find value in dogs has always been my strength, but also, jumping on a favorite where I feel like there's a bit of a misprice is also an edge that I feel like I have. So, it's a pretty cool contest because this was the first week where they actually cut the bottom two entries.
Wow.
So it's a elimination style tournament. Every week they cut the bottom two, and the goal is obviously not to worry about that, but to
To
worry
be the
about
best in
winning.
the world, right?
That's it.
Pretty
That's it.
much. Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you for letting us know about the contest and, like the levels of how Circa and all these contests, Circa Million, Circa Survivor. And then you also told me, I think, in Survivor, are you still in it? actually?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got one entry left, and this weekend's a bit of a nightmare. I
Mhm.
haven't completely made up my mind who I'm going to use. Last year, I made it in the top 100. I think there were either
Yeah,
93 or 95 of us left.
that's what
That
you
was a
said.
hell of a sweat. I got knocked out with the Washington game against Dallas. I hate using division rival matchups,
God, what
but
is up with Washington and being your like
the
kryptonite?
nemesis
Kryptonite.
team,
Yep.
thank you. Well, okay, so that's a great point. However, having grown up here in Connecticut and being a New Englander, my real nemesis team is the Patriots. So my other,
Ooh,
my other
cute.
option last year was taking Miami over New England. And I said, if I got to wake up Monday and lose one of these games, am I going to be more sick to my stomach if Dallas upsets Washington on the road or
Yeah.
the Patriots, who just took money out of my wallet year after year after year with Brady because I was constantly betting against them like a fool. So I ended up, I don't know if you guys remember, but Miami won in a rocking chair, and that
Yeah.
was the game with Washington where McLaurin caught the amazing touchdown, but then they missed the extra point. And
Mhm.
if you watch the documentary they did, I don't know the gentleman's name, but the way they show him falling to the ground crying, I could pretty much relate. I think I held it a little
That
bit
was
better.
you too. Yeah, you're like, I'm there with you.
I'm so numb, and I actually knew before the field goal went up. My neighbor was in the basement watching with me. He went to high five me. I said, "No, I watched this kid kick before. I hope they go for
It's
two."
not, yeah.
As soon as he lined up, I knew they were going to miss it. So
Dang. It
yeah,
was one of those like
You
as soon
just
as
Oh,
they,
know.
yeah, you just
when you know,
know.
you know.
ugh.
Oh man, thank you for all of that. I mean, I think it's awesome to have someone like you on the show and to kind of explain like everything that's been happening in the last 5 years with Circa Millions and for someone like you to actually be able to do that, I think it's great. It's awesome. And like you said, it's not like and you talk about losing too, so it's not like you're saying, oh, win, 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 win. A lot of the times there's that perception of like if you're one of the greatest gamblers or sports bettors in anything that in any sport, NFL, NBA, or whatever. All these guys always show is like I'm winning and here's all my nice fancy luxury stuff, but they don't talk about losing ever, which makes it seem so fake. So I think having someone like you kind of shows that these are real people that do
I
this.
was just gonna say, I'm a real person. I don't bullshit. Luckily for me, everything for the last 5 years has been documented.
Yeah,
Um, but we joked before, it took years and years of losing to figure out how to win. And
100%.
I think anyone that tells you otherwise is really full of shit, to be
Oh
honest.
yeah. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
Yeah,
think they're
100%.
being weeded out, you know what I mean? Slowly but surely, because a lot of the times all those guys that show like tickets that are either printed, pre-printed, or whatever it is, fake, not fake, it just shows that like, okay, dude, no one's putting in like 250 grand to win. I mean, unless you're Drake, obviously those are all different, right? But I'm talking about
Portnoy.
just normal people, you
Portnoy.
know like us, like who's in these contests, who's trying,
Sure.
who's trying to do the thing. But yeah, no, thank you so much. Let's see if the guys have questions for you. I'm going to start off with Caleb if you have anything for
You're gonna start
Jason.
off with me.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
I'm
we could
fucking
do
with you. I'm
I
fucking
don't
yeah.
with
know. You put me in with the Patriot fan right off
Yeah,
the.
that
you.
I
Yeah,
wanted
Yeah,
to.
man.
that's
It's a
perfect.
little dramatic.
How does it feel having the team you hate be the team that whoops your ass every fucking year? No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Man, yeah, it hurts.
Hey man, I had to take my medicine and now Mikey V's got his back, so it don't matter. No, you said you got a full-time job and you're a husband and a dad, and how do you balance all of this stuff, man?
Hopefully no one from my job's watching. It's tough though, right? Like, I spend a lot of time doing my homework in the NFL. And 22 years in sales, I've done a good job. I've got great relationships with my customers. I actually love what I do, and not many people can say that. So it's great. Obviously, having a family is my number one priority, and that's amazing. But like I said, my wife's she's a stud. She realizes she has a husband who's a complete degenerate and an animal. She lets me
An
go and do
animal.
my thing. She's an amazing mom, great wife. So that's really the key to my balance because without that, I wouldn't have a chance.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Shout
I'm in
out
I'm
to
in
your
Connecticut
wife.
and I'm in Vegas, once every 4 to 6 weeks. So how many people with three kids still in high school or younger can say that? So
That's a road trip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
All
not
the way
happening
from where you're
to
coming
most
from.
Americans.
And it's funny that you say balance, and I think a lot of these guys were in sales too, and that's how they all met. But a lot of that is trust and loyalty. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of that consistency too. So I think that's awesome that you brought that up. Big Pick or Prado? You guys got anything?
Yes. What do you enjoy more, playing crapless craps or sports betting?
Oh man, that's a tough one. It really depends on how the dice are going and how the games are going. But crapless craps is my vice. I got a call from Greg Stevens in the first quarter of the football game. I thought he was calling, asked me something about the game, and I was peppering him last time I was out there saying, "Man, you guys got to get crapless craps here. It's a no-brainer for the house." And then I was talking to he and Derek. I'm like, "You guys get like another 4 or 5% edge in your favor. I'll be playing it. My average
Like
bet will be double what it is today on regular dice.
you're
So
thinking about
Yeah.
it.
let's get it. You know what? I can say next time I'm there and I watch all those guys either winning or losing, that table's there because I put the request in. So
And then
There we
we'll think
go.
about you. We'll be like, dang, Jason, man, great job.
So how do you play? What is your strategy to crapless craps?
I'm not even going to give it out because I'm a losing dice player. I play dice. I play dice for the rush. And when you play crapless, you want to see the two threes, 11 and 12s.
This is
When that
so
seven
funny.
comes
The
out,
exotics?
exotics. But when those sevens come out, like you talk about the pain of the Patriots in Washington, it's every bit as bad.
It's every bit as bad. Oh my God. I believe it. I believe it. All right, Prado, any questions for guest of honor?
Yes, I have an interesting question. So the days before, like where everything got popular on Twitter, were you ever like on covers? Because I know a lot of guys come up from covers. Were you ever on the website? Were you part of the forums?
No, never,
Wow.
never.
Yeah, 'cause it's just like I noticed like a lot of people have kind of graduated from there as in they do their time there, they write, and then they find or have some success. There's been some like just like historic people that no one knows where they're at, and I'm not even sure if it was ever a real person. That's why I just asked you. Maybe you were just one of those guys once upon a time that, had like a forum, like I don't know,
Oh, like on Reddit or
JJ
something?
Patriots, and you're like, oh, that you were that guy, huh?
No, no,
Yeah.
I can't even come up with something quick enough to tell you I was he, but
Yeah.
not I.
All right. Well, any other questions, guys, before we go through the slots? Because I know it's getting kind of late up in the East Coast.
Second favorite thing to bet on, like what besides,
NFL.
NFL, college, like if there's any other sport that you could say, you know what, I actually enjoy this, I like this, I'm good at it.
I won't say I'm good at it. I'd say I'm come March Madness. That's my absolute favorite time of year.
Love
Um,
it.
Yep.
I can't get enough with the brackets. I actually still run a bracket. I started running a bracket 22 years ago.
Wow.
You talk about trying to find time. I've been saying for about 10 years, I'm done. This is it. It's the biggest pain in the ass in the world. But
But
everyone, come February, you're going to do it again. You're going to do it again, right? I have absolutely loved March Madness and college hoops. It's funny because I really don't like the NBA. I feel like the kids play so hard,
yeah.
and the passion, the school spirit. I went to both Final Fours. The first two times UConn won it back in '99 and '04 in St. Pete and San Antonio. The was it El Amin? We're going to shock the world. So I'm a huge college hoops fan. It's funny because when you start betting on sports you really lose your allegiance and passion, I
Mhm.
think, for teams because it's so hard to be like, man, I grew up a Cowboys fan back in the Danny White, Randy White, Dorsett, Drew Pearson days. I was a diehard. It's hard to, grow up and watch Aikman and Irvin, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
now I start betting on the games and say, man, I hope Aikman throws three touchdowns, two of them to Irvin, and Emmett gets a score, but they only win by three or less. So it's really
Yeah.
hard to be a fan and do that. So
It gets so
college,
much tougher too, being like, well, being unbiased is better than being biased because
no
sometimes the
doubt.
emotions, you know what I mean?
So I've lost my allegiance. The only team I really have a passion or care for anymore is UConn men's basketball. So that would be the answer to that question.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And then what you said about NCAA or college is crazy with NBA because yeah, they're both basketball, but I think it's less red tape, right? Between
Did you watch the Giannis non-travel the other day where he took the ball at half court and never dribbled it and took a shot under the
No,
hoop?
I didn't see that,
Yeah,
but I
I
did see
saw
that.
that.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
if they enforce the rules and call to travel a travel, until they do that, I just can't watch the game. The NBA is just such a
It's a
bad
lot of
product, in my
it's a
opinion.
lot
Wow.
of crazy stuff. within it too.
It's funny because like how you're talking about that with college, sometimes I feel that's what college is a tad bit where you got a player that the what I call the basketball IQ gets thrown out the window and you're like, stop passing, stop passing. And then that person almost forgets to like, hey, you are the offense. And then they're just deferring and then you get so pissed. And then I always come back to this. I'm like, what did you expect? This guy's 19.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
see,
Yeah.
it's like kind of like you kind of
But
remind
that
yourself
that also makes it exciting
where it's like
for
they're
other
not
people.
even like what you would say like an NBA, like they're not a professional, as I would say.
Right. It's funny you say that because there's been a couple. I go to the Atlantis, or I have for a number of years for Battle for Atlantis over Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, we're not going to go this year because of hockey conflicts and whatnot. But
Mhm.
I've seen all the. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but there's 8 teams, and you're literally watching them play college hoops in a gymnasium that holds 1,500 people. You'll never
Wow.
watch elite
That's
basketball in a more
insane.
intimate setting, where if you're in the last row, you're probably in the 10th row. It's incredible. But
Wow.
I go each year and I watch these guys, and you're watching future first round picks, and I feel foolish sometimes because I'll watch a guy like Halliburton when he was at Iowa State, and I'm like, man, I just don't know what the hype is about him because to your point, he's a little bit passive, and he could probably score 30 or 40, but he's scoring 12 points and grabbing some boards, but I just don't see it. And then all of a sudden you're watching an
Yeah.
NBA, he's an all-star, and so yeah,
In the
I appreciate what you're
finals.
saying, Carlos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is crazy. No, that's awesome. All right, we're gonna move on, Jason, to kind of some takeaways from last week, week 9. And then let me go over the numbers of the podcast first for the listeners. We're gonna go with 76% is our new ratio. We went 25 and 8. Good job, you guys. 11 and 2 for me. Obviously, had a monster teaser right there. I showed it to you too, and you're like, no. And I was like, I know this was a joke. This was a joke. I literally put this in at like 3, 4, 5 in the morning. I don't even remember when I woke up. And then 2 and 2 for Brad, 4 and 1 for Caleb, 5 and 1 for Bobby, and 3 and 2 for Prado. Again, 25 and 8, 76% total.
Strong week.
Yeah, and for the last 9 weeks, 68 and 28 for me at 70.8%. Big pick, you're at 58.2% from at 32.23. Caleb 35.23, 60%. Bobby's 27.21, 56.3. And Prado, you're not doing so well, but you're good. 27.34. You could catch up 44.3%. If anyone knows anything about catching on fire, that's Jason. So, you know. Let's go on to some takeaways. Do you have anything that was memorable, obviously, to you, Jason, for from last week? There's a lot, actually, but
Yeah, there was a lot. I mean, I guess first and foremost, I don't know if I'd call them blockbuster, but kind of the semi-blockbuster trades that took place with
yeah.
the Jets dealing their 2 top defensive players. Quite a bit of movement there the last few days. And for me personally and selfishly, the dogs finally came home. So the underdogs, I think, were 9-4 last week after the favorites have just dominated, not just this year, but really all of last year as well.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I feel fortunate to kind of be in the position I am because, as we've mentioned, I'm in my 3 circa entries. I'm in the top 10% in all of them. So I feel like
Love it.
once I can catch fire, I'll be back in contention. But it's I feel like last week was such a steam week on by the public, right? Like I smashed the Steelers, Falcons, and Cardinals, and there was so much money bet on the Colts and Cowboys, where the line kept the money kept being bet, and it took them a while to really get off that 3 number for
Hmm.
both games. Then it went to 3.5, and then the 20 cents and 15 cents. But um, I'm kind of hoping the same thing happens this week because I got a couple games circled where I almost want it to go opposite me and then come back the day of the game.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah, no, that's good stuff. I agree with you on the craziness of like you said, it finally came out, and Carolina, I slammed pa the Patriots and the over because I just that was the one game that when I look at the slate that I send you before the show, I always like see it in my head, and I don't even have to like I just look at the number that it's at right then and there. Like you said, it's early. So I think I usually do this on Monday and Tuesday. and I just went and saw Patriots, and I was like, dude, this is like a no-brainer for me. And sometimes you just know, right? So you're like, okay, I just know that this is what I'm gonna do. And then obviously Lamar came back, so that was pretty good to start off the week. And then with Buffalo, Seattle, and then Arizona, we talked about it. I texted you and you're like, I actually think they're gonna win straight up. And I was like, yeah, Brissett is a little bit of a better quarterback right now. And Dallas, I don't know. It's just weird with them. You always want to think they always want to think that Dallas will give you that W, but it's just not there.
It's a tough team to bet on.
Yes, yes. Whether it's either which side too. Doesn't even
They're better
matter.
as a dog than they are as a
I
favorite.
agree.
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. All right. Any other takeaways? Big pick or Los and Caleb, you guys.
Well, I'll let them take away. Sunday I was a busy man. Didn't get much watching.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear it. Oh,
Doing paperwork for
I'm gonna
people
pretend I
to
didn't
find
hear it.
whips.
I love
oh.
it, Caleb. Go ahead.
I thought it meant something else. Never mind. No, no, dude. I mean, look, New England, they snuck away with one, didn't they? The old Mike Vrabel special there. That was they tried everything they could to hand that game over to the Falcons and
I
still didn't
know.
do it. Also, how about Baltimore? Lamar Jackson back like he was never gone. How
I
about
know.
that?
It's
I
crazy.
I'm all about it. I'm all about it. And then my brother's a Bengals fan, and he's texting me AI videos of Zach Taylor as Adolf Hitler. So that's pretty funny, I guess. They're kind of melting down. Always pick the over in these Cincinnati games, I guess. That's the lesson
That's
learned.
like a trend for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all I got.
Um, well, Prado, I think you want to talk about our team, huh? Because you bet them large.
No, I was just saying that when we're talking about it, sometimes it seems like I have a biased opinion with the Niners, but sometimes the Niners are just in traditional spots where if they lose, it's like this is it. This is over. Write it off. There's certain games that they just won't lose. I think we kind of give the coaching edge a little bit too much of we let it run over our heads because there's no way Kyle's losing the Dable. That's just how I look at it.
That's
And
true.
you don't even care who's hurt, who's not out there. It's like you got the really good coach versus like I still don't understand this guy has a job. It just amazes me
He
like
just has
how
great
they
athletes.
they they just love him. Great athletes, but look at the against the spread, all this. He's just terrible. He's a terrible coach.
Yeah.
Um, and then business as usual. Kansas City finds a way to go into Buffalo. But the Buffalo Bills are the season warriors. I don't know what it is with this team. If they could just end the season, I guess during around this time, I guess Buffalo would have many championships, right?
Yeah, but again, Caleb, what do we always say on the show?
Bill the Buffalo Bills.
And then the mystery spot where the Pittsburgh Steelers, after absolutely embarrassing us a week
Yeah.
ago, found
Oh,
a way to just took some courage and came on the field and played good defense. And Danny Dimes looked lost and kind of back to being Danny, right?
Back in old form, actually.
Yeah, back in old form. And that weird stat where I just couldn't get
it
over
was
this.
indoor, Jason. It was that we talked. The guys had talked about it and I don't know if you're into this kind of stuff too. The guys talked about he had never played outdoors. Is that what you guys were saying?
Yeah, he was just majority of his games are in
Well, he played
indoors.
against the Titans. I mean, that's an outdoor game. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Boo.
But other than that, he's been playing
I was
indoors
big on
and
the Steelers last week, so I was happy to see it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
me and Carlos were on the Steelers as well.
No, that was the take back because the week when we were in Vegas, Jason, that's why I took the Steelers and not knowing that they were gonna fucking play Indiana, and I was like, fuck, oh my God. I should have known. Like when you're like, okay, this is the game. They didn't care about this other
Right.
stupid Green Bay game. Like, who cares? They're wearing
I
this.
think the media cared about the game more than they actually
Yes.
cared about it.
And that was the whole point of it.
Yeah.
So all right. Any other takeaways before we go into week 10? Good? Good, good, good. All right.
Good.
Thursday night football, we're not going to talk about too much, but if you have
There's
anything to
nothing to
say,
talk about there.
there isn't. There isn't. As I said, if you guys have anything to say other than the under was a lock, and I mean, the Raiders at first, and then you're like, okay, this is stupid. There's no way. You know what I mean? So there you go. Um,
I will say this, I was actually I'm still part of a survivor team, right? And I was on a sweat. They're over there talking in a chat like, "Oh, what if the Raiders win? What if the Raiders win?" I'm like, "What
he
if
was
they don't?"
getting
In my head, I
scared.
wanted to write, "What if they don't?" And how about we stop talking about it? Then they're like, "Well, this is the type of game the Raiders win," and I'm just sitting there
I
like,
told you Bo Nick sucks against that kind of
He's
defense.
fraud. He's
"Yeah."
fraud,
I
man.
just again, it's like the Raiders did, like Caleb said, they did everything they could to not win
To
the game. I
lose.
guess,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Some teams just are do a really good job at that. So
They
I'm happy
ran
we
themselves
survived.
over with the semi. Like no one did it for themselves.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how inept the Broncos offense looked. I mean, they look so out of sorts. And,
Yeah,
I know they beat Dallas soundly, but you look at some of the games they played against the Jets and the Giants, and I thought a lot more of that team the first few weeks of the year than I do the last 4 or 5 weeks.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You got
I
to
just
figure
don't
it
think
out.
they use their tight ends at all. Like I think that's their biggest downfall. Like they just do not use tight ends in that set. They throw
They
like
have
one,
really
two.
no rhythm when
And
you
they
watch their
used to.
offense.
Yeah.
They used to use t their tight ends,
And I
but
thought that Peyton was a tight end kind of guy. They said, oh, he's always got a
maybe
tight
it's not
end.
him. Maybe it's not him. Maybe it's his quarterback. You know.
Something.
All right, let's move on. First one is Atlanta versus obviously the Colts. 6 and
Berlin.
is the spread. Total is over under 48 and a half. Haven't thought about it on this one, but it looks like, I mean, Jason, do you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, foolishly or not, I've been pretty optimistic on the Falcons team all year.
Hmm.
Um, I had them week one. So actually, this goes back to what we talked about with the Friday Night Invitational. I failed to mention, but there's a component to it called your best bet,
Oh, yeah,
and it's worth 1.5 points. So I
right.
actually had the Falcons week one against Tampa. I bet the game at 3, but in the contest it was 2. We talk about using bad
Mhm.
numbers, right? So I lost my best bet week one. Luckily for me, I've won my last 8 in a row. So I want to keep that going this week. Um,
Oh,
I
okay.
came back with Atlanta as my best bet week 2 against the Vikings. That Sunday night game, I think it was, and they dominated. I also bet them against San Fran. They looked terrible, and then I had them last week as my best bet against the Patriots, right? So it's been Jekyll and Hyde with Atlanta. I think when they're healthy, though, that the offense has an opportunity to be so dynamic. Drake London, he put on a show last week with 3 touchdowns against New England. Bijan's one of the best running backs, if not the best running back in the game. And Kyle Pitts is, he's dramatically improved, right? Years of letting down. I'm not a big fantasy guy, but fantasy owners have been bitching about him for years. He's finally performing this year. So it, last week, if the Falcons D could have stopped the Patriots on 3rd and long just once in the first half, because they seem to allow
It would have
conversion after
happened. Yeah.
conversion, they would have won the game outright. Having said that, they did force a big fumble by Drake May at the end of the half there. They also
Mhm.
had an interception in the second half. Um, Having said that, the Colt I had mentioned Colts Cowboys, 2 heaviest bet public sides. I faded them both. Danny Dimes is Danny Dimes. He came
Mhm.
crashing down to earth against a Steelers D that has dramatically underachieved until last week.
Right.
And the Colts turned the ball over 6 times. So I don't think Indy's going to play anywhere near as bad as they did, but you're traveling out of Germany. Um, I think that, one of the things that's kind of allowed me to be successful in handicapping the NFL year
Mhm.
after year is the ability to kind of compartmentalize and not put too much stock, either positive or negative, in what we saw the week before. Oftentimes people kind of get set in their ways and, they're, it's tough for them to reassess, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I bet Atlanta at a bad number. I actually bet him at 6 earlier in the week, and it's up to I think 6.5 now. I know you said it's 6,
Yeah.
but Sauce Gardner, they're saying he's going to play. I bet the Falcons. I think these teams, and people might laugh at this, I actually think they're fairly evenly matched, and that this could be a game decided by a field goal. So I'll gladly grab those extra points. I wouldn't even be surprised if the Falcons were to win outright and Colts are on a mini downward spiral.
Yeah.
We're so quick to just anoint a team as the best in the NFL, and all of
Yep.
a sudden
You're
they
right.
lose a game and people are like, oh, well, they'll bounce back, but sometimes it's not quite that easy. So I'm gonna bet Atlanta this weekend.
All right, nice. And I think Caleb agrees with you as well as Prado. They're both
Yeah.
taking it.
Yeah, I think Atlanta came pretty. I mean, they covered last week, but they came pretty close to stealing one in a tough game against New England last week. And then I think you've also got to consider, to add to what he said, I feel like Indianapolis is the hype team right now. They just made a couple of big trades, and all the eyes are on them.
Hmm.
I just feel like they're due for a letdown. And usually, I mean, it's not like basketball where you can get one guy and he can just kind of slide in there.
Gary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it takes a couple of weeks for those pieces on a football team to start to gel together. So I
Mhm.
think they're due for a letdown here, and I think Atlanta's kind of on that upward trajectory at the right time. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them make this game a little bit closer than Indianapolis bargained for.
No, yeah, that makes sense. And Prado, I think you agree, right?
Yeah, I agree because I'll throw a little trend out there that's for the listeners. This is the second entry. My buddy said that he wants to take the Colts. I said, this game's in Germany, and I was like, I'm very big on when the hell did the team leave? Because I know the travel. Now it's very
Yes.
funny. These teams both left on Wednesday.
Well, the airlines
So
are fucked up right now.
well,
Yeah.
So
they got away with one, and
Did they get away? Okay.
I'm sure their pilots and their crew is well equipped with getting out of there when they need to.
Oh, okay. You mean they got paid. I gotcha.
Well, it's just like it's a professional team. They're going to get out of there. Um, but because this is a survivor pick, I'm going to start like kind of keeping notes that the survivor picks are usually the ones that are getting squeezed out, and the traditional 6.5 sevens. Been very, very close games, and if not, been upsets.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the margin in that way for this game as well. And I I don't know about you guys, but part of me thinks that I know it sounds silly, but Sauce is kind of if he does play and he plays a lot of snaps, he's gonna mess him up a little bit. He needs to kind of get used to the team and the
yeah, they got to
defense and the
gel.
Yeah,
schemes
that's what he said. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
And
he's got to
It's
When Ward
all
comes
pro
back,
level
that's going to be a
either.
dynamite secondary.
Oh,
yeah.
that's true. That's true. No, it makes sense. Okay. Next game, we're gonna move on to Cleveland versus the New York
Oh,
Jets.
yes. I couldn't wait to talk about the
I
marquee game
know.
of the
The
week.
I like
toilet bowl.
My
but
favorite
it's
game of the
great. It's
week.
great for like people like us in the contest when you love this kind of shit. So Cleveland versus New York Jets, 2.5 totals over under 38. Jason, I know you said you couldn't wait.
I was joking. I mean, but the
I
Jets
know.
are coming off the first win of the year, and I was super excited because I hit him live 5-1 and 9-1 there at the
Mhm.
Circuit with you. So that was pretty exciting. And
Yeah.
how did the Jets celebrate? They dumped their two best defensive players. So I will say
It's
this about the game.
crazy.
I think Tyrod Taylor's a much better quarterback than Fields. He just has better command of that offense.
Mhm.
He's looked more in control. Fields has been abysmal since that week one performance against the Steelers. The Browns offense has looked equally pathetic, right?
Right.
They do have one of the best defenses in the league.
They do.
I don't know. I'm not going to play this game. If I had a lean, I would probably say the Jets only because of this. The Jets opened as either 1.5 or 2 point favorites, and now we're seeing the Browns as a 2.5 point favorite.
Yeah.
Are two defensive players really worth 4.5 points in an NFL game? I'm not sure. I'm not going to bet it, but I wouldn't uh, go against putting the Jets it's gross to even say that, but
The
put the
teaser.
Jets in a tease and get them up to, maybe 8.5 points, with perhaps like a team like not getting ahead of ourselves, but like the Texans getting them up to maybe 7.5 or 8. So
Yeah.
there's some options there, but
No, yeah,
this is
that's good.
not a
That's
game
good
over bet.
options. Yeah, but it's something that you're like, you want to stay kind of away. But with Cleveland, I've always liked them as dogs throughout the whole, you know, what we have right now, 9 weeks of
Well,
NFL.
they've always been dogs. So you must like
Yeah,
them all.
I mean, of
Yeah.
course, but it was just to me, I was like, dude, like this doesn't sound too good. You know what I mean? It just doesn't. But I mean, these are the types of things that, you're like, okay, maybe I'll just put that in just in case, you know. So it does pique the interest of the Jets, but that's because it's going against my usual Cleveland stuff that I like to do. But because they have been a team that has made me money throughout these 9, 10 weeks coming up. So I may take the Jets on that. I think the all the guys agree. Caleb, you're taking the Jets. Big Pick, you're taking the Jets, and Prado, you're taking the Jets. Everyone likes money line though, right?
Yeah.
Caleb, you want.
Hmm.
I'm taking the Jets with the points. I'm not gonna go. I don't know if I go money line, but yeah, dude, Cleveland's got to be one of the most incompetent offenses I've ever seen. Like it's so bad. And Dylan
It's
Gabriel, how bad is Shador Sanders that Dylan Gabriel is the
yeah,
start
yeah.
over
You
there?
just wonder. You're like,
You
dude, are you just waiting for him, or what
Well,
are
no,
we doing?
he's not that good. They got pressured into drafting him by the front office. They didn't want him, and
I
they
know,
said,
but
"Hey,
at
it's a
least
fifth
put
round
it.
pick."
You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, that's the thing. I agree. At this point, your season's over. Put him in for a game and shut everybody up.
Just
Just
take a
put him
look.
in. Yeah,
Yeah.
let him go in and lose by 50 and go, "See, we didn't even want this guy." And let everyone do their thing. Yeah, that's what I would do. But no, I got the Jets at 2.5, so I'll be a pussy. I won't go money line.
Yeah, and their defense, like Jason mentioned, I mean, they have kind of one of the best ones throughout all this season, but it gets just
Wasted.
like, yeah, it's wasted. It gets overshadowed by obviously the loses or
Yeah,
the losing. And if you can't get W's and have a good defense, I mean, what good is it for? Like you said.
facts.
So, yeah, no, big pick, Brad, money line Jets. You're
Yeah, no, I think Stefanski's on the hot seat, one to start, and a new play caller is going to be introduced this week, which I don't think is really going to help them at all. I just feel like they're a team that's never prepared to play, and the roster is just on the offensive side of the ball, outside of their running back and a couple of receivers, is just not very good.
yeah. Uh,
Gabriel's atrocious. It's hard to watch.
Atrocious. Yeah. And he gets so frustrated too. I don't know what's going on with him. But all right, Prado, you're next.
Keep it simple. Dylan Gabriel should never be a favorite against anybody.
No.
Yeah,
Simple.
It's true.
There's nothing else to say.
keep
Oh,
it simple, stupid, huh?
Yeah.
yeah. All right, next game. I don't have anything on it, and the guys don't either, but maybe Jason does. Saints versus Carolina, and spreads 5.5, totals over under 39.5.
Yeah, it's actually a game I'm going to be playing. The Panthers
Ah.
are 6-3 ATS this year. They've won 4 of 5, and they're actually above 500 at the halfway point, which somewhat shocking. Not as shocking as coming off the win last week at Lambeau, where I had Carolina. I didn't have them winning the game outright though. Um, Rico Dowdle's been awesome, right? So he obviously had the huge game against Dallas, but he's been running like a man possessed and took the running
He
back
has.
or honors from Howard, right?
Yeah.
So I, here's my thing: they're still the Panthers, and Tyler Show,
Still the
he looked all
Panthers.
right in his first start against the Rams. Um, I don't know how much the Shaheed trade is going to have an impact. Olave's still a great receiver. They try to mix it up there with oh God, I'm losing my mind. The tight end quarterback. Help me out.
Oh,
Oh,
Mr. What do we
God.
th
Why are we blanking on this?
Oh
Come
my
What
on,
is
God.
his
give me the.
name?
We
I know
forgot
who
about him
you're
because
talking
he's been
about.
out for so long. He blew his knee out.
What's his name?
Ty
Come on.
Taysom
Yeah,
Hill.
Taysom.
Taysom
The
Hill.
Taysom, not
Mormon.
Tyson. Yeah.
Yes.
They tried to mix him in quite a bit last week, mixed results. But at the end of the day, until I see Carolina, you know, play consistently
Yeah.
and win by more than a touchdown, I'm going to take the Saints, um, eh, no matter how bad the Saints are. So,
Yeah. No, it's
Duck,
very
Tyler
true.
Shuck.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. None of us have anything, but if we do, there is a newsletter, and it's time for me to remind you, go on the website, www.thesportsbettingqueen.com. The newsletter is free. It comes out every week, before the games start, obviously on that Sunday, and then we have one that comes out on Thursdays as well. Not today because none of us had anything. But obviously, if you sign up, it's free. There's really nothing to talk about. Everything's documented on there, so you'll see what we take and what we don't take if we change our mind.
I will, Katie, say one thing about that game, right? The Panthers go into Lambeau, they get the huge win. And they have looked pretty good this year, right? They've had a couple other good performances. I think you get that public perception. We're like, wow, Carolina is good.
Carolina's good.
Yeah,
Right.
or they're kind of good. Yeah.
People are going to actually use them in Survivor this week, and I could just see an implosion, right? Like I could really see the
Oh
Saints
my
going in there,
God.
and
That would be
Car
insane.
Carolina is either going to win the game like 31-10, or they're going to
Or
lose
yeah,
12-9.
yeah.
It's one or the other. So
Yeah.
It's yeah, that's the way it's gonna go.
I
So
mean, they're still professionals. It's still a division game. Like
you got
you know.
Kamara still. I mean, they got some
there's
options.
some
Yeah,
potential.
he said he's not leaving, so his heart's with the Saints.
Yep.
Okay, there you go.
I just think you guys talk about Shador Sanders. This quarterback was trash. Another
Some
another college quarterback that just he had like one good
hype.
year, I think, if I'm not mistaken. That's it. And
Well, I mean,
Duck,
yeah.
Jason mentioned, I mean,
wasn't he a
Carolina has
transfer
other
guy?
tools,
Yep.
you know. So it's not just the QB. It's not on the QB, but Carolina, if you have tools, you could look like a really great QB, just like the tools could look really good if you have a great QB. It
Hey,
goes,
you know what, Katie? I get 60% right. That means I get 38-39% wrong. I'm not going to get them all
you
right.
know
So
what I mean?
this is
Yeah,
one where I'm going to plug my nose
exactly.
and hope I got the right one.
Yeah. All right, next game, Buffalo versus Miami. I think this is in Miami, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nine and a half is the spread. Total is over under 50. Is this it for McDaniel? McDaniel, right? Or McDaniels? I don't know his last.
Close.
Yeah.
Could be.
Uh,
I forgot to mention it, but the Bills did what the Bills did, right? They
yeah.
beat
Yeah.
Chiefs in the regular season. Josh Allen's, I mean, the guy's impossible to sack. I've never seen a quarterback turn more tackles for a loss into huge plays, both with his arms and his legs. And between James Cook and you got the two-headed monster of Kincaid and Knox, it's a tough offense to contain. Miami's Miami's terrible.
Yeah, there you go.
They come
Terrible.
off the deflating loss to the hands of the Ravens, right? They looked awful in that game, but they do have some extra time to prepare for this. It is a division rival. It's concerning that they sandwiched 6 point, totals against Cleveland and Baltimore around that 34-point outburst
Hmm.
against Atlanta. And you mentioned Mike McDaniel. I think he is just trash. I don't think his team
He
respects him.
is.
The
Yeah.
offense plays as soft as he looks with his little capri pants and designer clothes.
Leonard from The
Free
Big
Um,
Bang Theory.
pants.
Yeah.
so having said all that,
Yeah.
I'd still I don't know if I'm going to bet it, but I definitely lean Miami to stay within the number.
Oh,
Uh,
I gotcha. To cover. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, 9.5 points is a lot. It's a home game. It's a division
It's
rival.
all the way out there, too.
The Bills' defense is prone to giving up chunks of yardage,
Mhm.
especially on the ground. And Achen's a big playmaker. You
And
still have
Cook
Kellen
is
Mond.
Cook is questionable too.
Oh,
I think he's going to play though. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a division rivalry. Buffalo's coming off of a super emotional game.
yes.
You're always getting up for the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're getting up quite as much for Miami in
And you're in
Miami.
Miami,
So
you're living
I'm not saying
life. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
you get the humidity and the heat, but yeah, at the end of the day, I think that Buffalo is going to win the game. I just think Miami has a good shot at staying
Yeah.
within the
The
number.
cover too. Yep. Yep. And it's a huge number. So yeah. I mean, 7, 7.5, you're okay.
I saw that
Anything
they
at
had a
10, you're like,
report that they were saying that they were potentially going to bench Tua, and then that the owner said for
not
Miami
to.
that they do not want to fire the coach in season. They would rather let him play throughout the season and then remove him at the end of the season. That's what
Yeah, I
they
think they got
said.
rid of the coordinator instead, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
Oh
always a
God.
scapegoat.
right.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's what it is. You always
Sounds
gotta
like
have that.
smoke.
I
Yeah.
don't know,
Yeah.
man. I
Smoke and mirrors.
I
Okay.
I feel like this is going to be that game where every team, like bad team, has that one signature loss, the same way good teams have signature
Yeah.
wins.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be the game we look back on at the end of the year when they fire McDaniel and we go, that was the catalyst right there because
That
Buffalo
was the
came out
game.
and beat the brakes off of them. I feel like this is what it's going to be here. So I could be
Mm.
wrong, but
All
I
right.
think Buffalo big, 2, 3 scores.
Wow. Okay, Caleb. Yeah, and you're usually the guy that says it's still Buffalo. So yeah,
Yeah.
that
That's,
makes
hey, I picked Buffalo last week,
no,
so.
that's true. That's true. All right, we're gonna move on since nobody else has anything except for Caleb, and then also Jason had something. So Jacksonville versus Houston. I heard you say it, I think, earlier in the episode. One is the spread, totals over under 38. Jason, are you taking anything?
I don't know if I'm going to take anything. I mean, that hit on Stroud last week crushed my Texans bet. I would have had a really
Oh,
good.
same here.
True.
Oh,
I mean, they were dominating that game. There was no way Denver was winning. But then, you put in Davis Mills, who's pedestrian at best. I'm not a Trevor Lawrence fan. I was happy to grab the 2.5 last week with the Raiders, and I love the way that game ended, although they should have won outright.
yeah.
Uh, but this is a must-win game for the Texans. They're 3-5. Jacksonville's 5-3. If the Texans have any hopes of making the playoffs, they really need this one. We talked about the Browns defense going to waste. This Texans defense is one of the best units in the league. They lead the league in points allowed at like just a hair over 15. They've played under in 6 of the last 8 games. I don't know how this one's going to go over. I see it as another, ugly, drag it out game. I,
It
I
looks,
I think it's a safe bet putting the Texans in the tees, like I'd mentioned earlier, maybe with the
yeah,
Jets getting up to 7.5, but I don't think I'll bet the game straight up.
yeah. The teaser is very attractive.
I
And
respect the way their defense plays. Like when the game's like out of reach
that's true.
sometimes, here's their defense showing up. And they did a lot of that in that Monday Night Football game versus Seattle. Their most defenses just lay down. This team kept turning the ball over, kept putting their team in a good spot. And it was just like, wow.
Yeah. Oh man, he's frozen.
Yeah, it's frozen in the
Yeah.
goo there.
Oh no, you're good
I'm
now. I think
good.
you're moving.
I didn't know if
Uh,
that was me or if that was Carlos. I was trying to figure that out.
yeah, oh my God.
It
No,
mine
Yeah,
mine paused for a second.
no, it
Carlos,
was.
I had the Texans that game on Monday night. They were coming off the bye, and
So do we.
I thought it was a great spot for them. And to your point, the only reason that they didn't lose by 50 is because of Will Anderson, that defense, the strip sack for the touchdown. Um, Luckily, they came back and got it done the following week against, I think it was San Fran. So I was a week early on them. But yeah, no, their defense is legit.
No,
And
solid.
the one bad thing I will say this, and you probably could see this. How come when they get to the 1 or 2, what the hell
They just
happens?
can't make a play,
They
dude.
cannot score. And like
Yeah.
CJ, I know isn't tall, but like, man, can he just like do a quarterback sneak once?
No.
It's disappointing too. Nico Collins is a stud. Schultz is a good tight end. They have some weapons, and I know they lost. Oh gosh, the receiver last year, that terrible knee injury.
Well,
Oh yeah, that.
His
Oh
Oh,
friend,
thank
yeah.
yeah.
you. But
Yeah.
they still have enough weapons.
Okay.
They should be able to put some points on the board, and they've struggled.
yeah,
Yeah, no, they
Barrios
do.
tore up the Niners.
Especially in the red zone. They're
Yeah.
just done. Like they can't get it done.
Yeah, red zone. They were at the one twice last week, and then that Seattle game they were down there twice, and probably for like 8 plays and scored one touchdown. It's like wow.
Oh man. All right, next game. We're gonna do Baltimore versus Minnesota. 4 is the spread, totals over under 49. Um, I don't know. I mean, Jason, you go first. I'll do mine after.
Let me go first. If you want to go for it,
No,
Katie.
no, no. I just had the over on this one. So
So Baltimore is a team I've been telling everyone to jump on for the last few weeks while the numbers are favorable. Before they beat Miami, I said to grab them at 11-1 to win the AFC East. You can still get them, I think, at 9-1. If you go back to week one, they looked so dominant against Buffalo, shockingly blew that game.
I
Then
know.
the defense became the walking wounded. Then Lamar went out for a few games.
Yeah,
They just acquired the edge rusher, is it Draymond Jones from the Titans. So they're trying to get healthy on D and improve the D. They've won 2 in a row. I don't see them losing more than 1 or 2 games the rest of the year. I just think that when healthy, they're like the scariest team in the league. And if they get in the
Hmm.
playoffs, they're not going to be more than a 2.5 point dog to anyone come playoff time. And that's only going to happen if they're playing at Kansas City. They'll likely be a pick 'em or a small favorite against anyone else. So
yeah.
even if you just make that bet, I think as a hedge opportunity down the road, I think you're going to set yourself up in a really good spot. Um, I
Successful
mean,
one, if
yeah,
anything.
I'm high on the Ravens. Again, it's a long season. People have short-term memories. They just focus week to week, but I think that they're poised to go on a run. So having said that, I'm a little hesitant to lay the 4.
Mhm.
McCarthy looked great last week with the upset of the Lions. I think I don't want it to be, but I think this could be a close game. I think the Ravens come out on top. I'm definitely going to be putting the Ravens in some money line parlays. Um, you know, I don't know if this got missed on anyone because it was such a blowout, but at the end of the Thursday night game against Miami, Harbaugh and the team were hugging and high-fiving on the sideline like they had just won the Super Bowl. I feel like a huge weight was lifted off their shoulders by getting that win.
Yeah.
And you don't see that often with, I mean, they literally were going nuts like they just won something big. It
Yeah.
was, they
No,
beat
it
the
was like we're back to who we
yes.
are. That
So
was it
I
was
just,
validating.
you know, I wouldn't be shocked if they win this one going away, and maybe we're getting really good value, being that they're still 3-5, and the Vikings just
Hmm.
won
Hmm.
on the road at
Yeah.
Detroit.
Yeah.
This could be a game where they go in and win 38-20, and we say the Ravens are back.
Yeah. No, I like it.
By the way, I'm not a big totals guy, but neither of these defenses are as strong as they were last year, so might be a good spot to play the over. I'm not even
Yep.
sure what it is.
That's what I like. It's 49, or 48. I have it at 48 and a half. And that's the only, like I said, when I look at this and I'm doing this for the show and I think about it and I'm sure about it, I just put it on there. So that's the first thing that I put on there. That and it was I think it was today's game, the under. So a lot of totals for me this week. The guys don't have anything on this game, but if you guys have any comments on
I,
what I'm going to say.
I do have a very important note. I actually do like the total in this game. I'm also a big Baltimore follower, but I want to ask you this. Uh, Again, it's random. Do you know about JJ McCarthy not throwing the ball to the left? Have you
God.
had any
God, he's
input on
bringing
that,
this
or
up
have you heard
again.
anything about that? That he cannot make a throw to the left?
Is that to me?
Yeah, Jason, do you know anything about that?
I don't, but I want to learn more.
Yeah, see, he's into it. He's into it because it's true, I guess. He just can't throw it to the left, or when he does, it's like weird. I don't know. I don't know. What do you have to say about it, Prado?
No, what I was asking, like, has he heard anything about that, or
No,
No,
he
is it
doesn't, but
just
he
I
wants to
me?
haven't.
learn more.
Wow, that's
Then
crazy.
again, I mean, how many games has McCarthy played? There hasn't been that much
Not much.
tape
No.
to really, read into that.
But this dates back to his college days, and like now that I said it, watch going into this week. I want you to pay attention. How many times does he not throw to the left?
That is wild.
I'm hoping he's 0 for 10 with 3 interceptions.
Right?
Well, be careful what you wish for, because according to his tree, that's kind of like what could happen.
Oh man. Okay, next up, none of the guys have anything. New England versus Tampa Bay. 2.5 is the spread. Totals over under 48. Caleb, is that you taking
That is me.
Tampa?
That is
Wow.
me. New England's been on a run, and I think it comes to a stop here. I don't think this is a verdict on the team or anything like that, but I do think that this is back down to earth, maybe hopefully briefly, but I think back down to
Hopefully
earth moment
briefly.
for New England, and I think Tampa's probably because New England, dude, New England had a stretch of some cake games. I mean, just dog shit opponents back to back to back. And then you kind of started to see cracks in the foundation against Atlanta a week ago. I think it's this is a good course correction moment for them. They'll be able to say,
Caleb,
"Hey, our shit
yeah.
does stink," and then take a break, and then we'll see.
Go ahead, Jason.
No, I'm jumping on what Caleb's saying. Panthers, Browns, Saints, Titans. Those are some of their wins. Hard
Yeah,
to murderers row.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you like anything on this game, Jason?
You know, it's so hard living in New England here because now Drake Mays, Tom Brady reincarnated, only he's got more athleticism, more
They were
mobility.
showing
Yeah,
this meme
he's
too,
actually
by the way.
better. Yeah, he's better than Brady. Yep.
He did turn the ball over twice at critical times last week against Atlanta. I think they were lucky
Yeah,
to get out there with the win.
I agree.
The Bucks have been so injured, but man, this is kind of two potential MVP candidates, right? And I'm not talking Tez Johnson. Drake May, Baker Mayfield, they've been great. So
Bo
I
Nix's
will
brother.
say this: I actually found a pretty interesting stat. Um, Now I have to remember what it was, but I'm not a big analytics guy or anything like that. But the Tampa defense is seventh in the league against the run. And Drake May is 1-9 in his career when he has to throw the ball more than 30 times in a game.
Mm.
So that could be an angle to look at. If Tampa bottles up the run, makes them throw the ball down the field. I don't know if I'm going to play the game. If I did, And I told you I'm more of a dog guy, but this would be laying 2.5 or the money line with Tampa and seeing if they can put an end to the 6-game win streak for New England.
Yeah, the defensive part of Tampa is where I'm like, they could do something about that, especially if they're watching film from the week
This is a
before.
blitzer, so he's definitely coming after May.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I may take something late, but you've got me thinking about it. Prado has actually the opposite, New England plus 2.5. But that's because you're so against Baker. See, that's the thing. Like, when you go against, sometimes you
Oh,
gotta
that my facts are just facts and they're just right. That's why.
see. Oh God, here we go, Jason. This
No,
is what I'm talking
look. Okay, let's talk about Cupcake. I've never
about.
seen a team that kind of we throw under the rug that hasn't had a cupcake set of like that game
Tampa,
versus
Tampa.
Atlanta. They should have lost if it wasn't for somehow Koo forgot how to kick. And then we talk about the Houston game. Houston's dominating. It's 4th and 10. The game's over. Baker scrambles for like this unbelievable run. That's two
I've
wins right
done
there.
that 4 or 5 times this year at critical times. It's
It,
insane.
Yeah.
I understand like
So
his
you can't like be
no,
like
look,
that's not good, or
but
bad
it's
luck.
like it's not that. Okay, look, he does
How
his
many times
job.
can you pull the rabbit out of the
Yeah,
hat kind of
exactly.
thing?
He does his job. There's always that team too.
Hmm.
There's always that team that just pulls like the most insane runs in the season. Then traditionally they start kind of falling back in place a little bit. I just think this is I don't know, a little bit better coaching matchup here. I wouldn't go out and say Mike Vrabel's a better coach
Hmm.
than Tampa's coach in a weird way. I kind of want to, but I don't think it's the time for it. Um, but I think also too, Tampa's
They
also
did beat
very,
Seattle though on the road.
yeah, they're very hurt. Again, they had a good
They
spot.
are hurt. Yeah, you're
Players
right.
are gone. It's like
Irving should be Bucky Irving should be back though, and they're
I
saying
think he
what's the
is.
latest on Godwin?
he's hurt. He's not playing.
He's definitely out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's something with his fibula. I didn't know he got
I didn't know that
re-hurt.
either.
He's on my fantasy team. That's how I'm well aware of it.
Wow, wow.
They
That's
say it's questionable, but there's another thing that said there's no way he's playing.
all
I mean, you
right.
got to give Baker credit though. He's been throwing the ball to
Yeah, that's what I'm
rookies
saying.
like
You have to
Dez.
give credit if it's been done more than once or twice.
Baker's like the Buffalo Bills. It's like
He's still
he's
Baker.
got the production, he's got the pedigree, he's got the backing, he's a football player, but when it matters, where does he go?
Yeah, you're right. You mean when he's a fit? I guess now
Oh,
he's a
he's
faithful.
been in the playoffs. I know he's won one game, I remember.
I think it's
He
one.
he gave the Chiefs a run for the money, I believe, in
He
divisional round.
covered, didn't he? Yeah, I think he did.
I think he
Versus
beat
them.
Pittsburgh bad in a playoff
Yeah,
game, if I
he beat the shit out
remember.
of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That was when the first snap was snapped over Ben's head for like a touchdown, I think.
Well, that's because he has that like dog in him where he's like, I just want to win. You could see
Well,
it.
You do have to respect that out of him. I'm not a huge
yeah,
You could
fan, but
see
you
it.
got to respect the game. Yeah.
The competitive,
Yeah.
yeah, he's competitive.
he said he
All right.
carried that since college with when Texas shot him down, didn't offer him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, fuck you guys.
All right, next game, New York Giants versus Chicago. Anything on that, Jason? I don't have.
Surprisingly, yes.
Oh
And
wow.
this is going to be, I told you last week I was really high on the Steelers, Cardinals, Falcons. Two
Hmm.
out of the three got home outright. I think, the Giants were run all over by the Niners last week. It wasn't a great spot for them, but Jackson Dart, he's impressive. I like what he's doing with that team, despite they're on a 3-game losing streak.
Hmm.
That Bears game was insanity against the Bengals, one of the most entertaining games of the
I
year.
know. I
Hands
know.
down.
They blow a 2-touchdown lead, and then
Crazy.
Loveland on the 58-yard touchdown to win it. I mean, that was some of the worst tackling, by the way, I've seen as well. That Bengals secondary just atrocious. I saw a fun fact. Caleb Williams, first player in over 75 years to have at least 2 receptions and pass for 10 completions in one game. I don't think that's going to happen again.
Yeah.
So, the Bears are dealing with a big loss, though, on the defense, losing their defensive end.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you say his name. Ingbo,
I
something
don't know
like
how to say his name
that.
either, and I'm
So,
usually good at pronunciations.
so I just think the Giants' offense is going to be able to put up points, and I think their defense is better than the numbers indicate. I like Thibodeau, I like Burns, I like Sexy Dexy. I think they'll be able to keep Williams in check. And I was actually hoping this line would open closer to 5, and it opened at 3.5. I've told you I beat the numbers probably 60-70% of the bets I put in on Monday. And now I'm about to tell you the second one where I didn't get a good number. I bet it at 3.5. It's actually at 4.5. But I think that's really due to a couple of linemen on the Giants who are questionable. So I'm not worried yet because the steam last week, it was the same thing where the Cardinals were 2, it closed at 3.5. They got home easy. Same thing with the Steelers, opened at 3, even closed at 3.5. I think the Giants are going to go in there, play this one tough, and I really think that they're going to win this one outright.
Nice, nice. And speaking of points on this one, I think Caleb agrees with you, and you like the over on this one.
Yeah, dude. With Caleb and Jackson head to head, 47 feels like Christmas in November. Yeah, give it all day, all day. Let's do it.
Christmas in November. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's yeah.
Here's an interesting note here, just for fun. I used to tell Brado, because Brado's a huge USC guy, sadly, and I used to be like, this guy Jackson Dart's pretty good. Brad, if I'm mistaken, correct me wrong. Did Caleb take Jackson's spot? That's why he's out of.
Caleb flew in, Jackson flew out.
Okay,
Wow.
nice. That's so. This is kind
So
of a
this
cool
is
little.
that game.
Yeah, it's exactly there. You go. It's that game. So you guys talk about Baker having that, like, that nasty pedigree and being a
Oh
little
yeah,
pissed.
Dart has it.
Okay, I respect that. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Good to know.
Remember CTE brothers with unfortunately my running back who
Scattaboo.
scatterbooed out of the fucking season.
How do you not love that guy?
I
Yeah.
love that guy. I can't not love that guy. And I love them together. I mean, unfortunately, he won't have him, but like you said, there's a dog in this guy too. And
Yeah.
you
They've
know,
got a great foundation for next year with Neighbors and Scattaboo and Dart. I
oh
mean, if
yeah,
you're a Giants fan like my oldest son is,
you
you got
better
a lot to look
be
forward to.
ready. Yeah, it's gonna be a great season, especially if they keep healthy next year. And so there's a lot of high hopes, like you said. So I think not a lot of people are high on them just yet. Just obviously their fan base right now, but it's coming. It's
Turns
coming.
out USC should have never gave up on him and probably would have won something more than what Caleb had to
Caleb
offer, huh?
Williams had to offer.
Caleb won the Heisman. What more do you want him to do?
Oh God.
Couldn't beat Utah though.
Couldn't beat
Oh,
Utah. Went to
couldn't
both
beat
games,
Utah.
lost them both.
True. Oh my God. All right, next game, Arizona versus Seattle. 6.5 is the spread. Totals over under 45. I don't have anything on this game because I just took both teams last week and I need to reevaluate what's happening. But go ahead, Jason.
I don't know if I do either, to be honest. I've been so high on the Seahawks all year.
Yeah.
And then, like an idiot, I bet against them last Sunday night against the Commanders. The
Ooh.
good news is I was able to get a great night's sleep because I didn't have to watch the second half. They just never had a chance in that one.
You're like, oh
I like Mike McDonald's done a great job with that team. And, Darnold's been awesome.
yeah.
Seahawks D's really good.
They're good. They're good.
The, Last week though, the Cardinals were my best play of the week. And going to that game, they had lost 5 straight games by a total of 13 points,
Hmm.
which is
Hmm.
kind of crazy if you think about that. So their record, they could easily be over 500. I think the defense, led by Buda Baker, I think they're a little bit underrated. And it's a division rival. What scares me though is the Seahawks have beaten them 8 out of 10 times, so they do have their number. But for me, this is either take the Cardinals or pass.
Yeah, so this is some divisional ownage games too coming up. But yeah. No, I'm none of the guys have anything, so I'm gonna skip over. And if they
The
do,
Cardinals did play him really tough though in the beginning of the season.
They did.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Detroit versus Washington. 9 is the spread. Totals over under 49. I like the under 50 here. A lot would say, hey, maybe it's gonna go over these two teams, but I just obviously they lost their quarterback. Um,
Nice job, Dan Quinn, huh?
dude,
Idiot.
You're
it's
only
crazy.
you're down 31 in the fourth. Let's leave our franchise quarterback in with
And
seven
then
minutes.
just break his whole arm.
Doesn't it remind you of like Robert Griffin III when Shanahan left him
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Yeah, they were making that comparison. It's
They
crazy.
did a lot too, and that field, and then led into like all
Something about Landover, Maryland. Something about that place is fucked up.
this.
So you know what's crazy about this game? This would be the prototypical game where I'd say, man, this is a perfect spot to jump back on Washington. They lay an absolute egg on national TV. Teams usually don't play awful 2 games in a row, but and Mariota's played plenty this year, and he's been sufficient. He's not lighting it up,
Mhm.
but he manages the offense. I don't know if McLaurin's going to be back or not, but the problem is the Lions are also coming off a loss, and couple that with the fact that 4 of the 5 Lions win this year have been double digits, and then add on to that, it's also a revenge game from the playoffs last year. I don't know if I want to be taking Washington this week, just
At
based on.
all.
I think I'm going to stay away from this one and see what happens.
Yeah, no, I hear you on
I
that.
think even if Daniels was playing, let's say he
It's
didn't get injured,
still,
I still don't like them this week.
That
yeah.
team is just a train wreck. They
Yeah.
No, it
looked
is.
really bad the other night.
A mess. They're a mess.
I'm a little
Although it's
saddened
not just the
that
other night. They've lost 3 straight games by 20
Mhm.
plus
No,
points.
it's true. It's true.
I'm a
What do you
little
think?
saddened that Jaden's not in there because I think he's not a good quarterback. I think he's one of the most overrated quarterbacks they have in the NFL. I understand he has a good personality and he's a
No, he's
raw,
good
raw kind of
enough,
guy.
but
He
yeah.
he he made a very weird comment. I don't know if you saw this with him and Aaron Andrews. I hate when people do this. He's like, "Well, I'm actually a perfectionist." I'm like, "Okay, you lost me there." Like, have you ever heard Tom say that? You ever heard Patrick say that? Like, he literally said that, and I was like, "This is the same Jaden Daniels from ASU. Like, what are we doing here? Stop." Like,
I
Yeah,
didn't know.
that
don't be
Jaden
that.
Forgot
Daniels is
that
a
he said
Yeah,
that.
straight
don't be
fade.
like that. They're like, you, my teammates don't know that I like to this and that. And I'm very competitive, and
Maybe
I'm
that's
like,
his way of being competitive,
Mhm.
you know. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on. Rams versus Niners. I will be at this game. I know
Oh, nice.
I swore up and down I would never go to a 49er game after we lost the Super Bowl and I lost 24 grand, but it is what it is.
Was that against the Chiefs? Because
Yes.
that game crushed me too. I was big time on the Niners.
Yeah, no, this was in Vegas,
Everybody
the
but the
first one
refs
in
was.
Vegas, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously I was the first
I heard there were Big Ten refs there.
fucking,
Probably.
yeah. No, I mean it's just like terrible. You're going to, the Super Bowl. It's in Vegas, Jason, you're just like, "Yes,
We wanted to watch history, is
we're
basically what
fucking
she's trying to
up."
say.
Yeah.
Just watch a little bit of history.
And it
Yeah.
didn't happen, and I was like, "I'm never fucking going back to another fucking game because I'm not giving that fucking franchise that I supposedly love and am biased to, all the time, like more money, but here I
She's
am."
actually not biased against them. She actually talks a lot of shit about them.
I
Half the
do.
time
I
I'm
do.
listening, I'm like, do you even like this team?
I don't anymore. You say this.
And they'll be winning, and then it'll still be like, well, now you win when it doesn't matter. It's like it doesn't. It's like it
You know
doesn't
what it
matter, right?
is? You know what it is, Jason? It's a toxic fucking relationship.
I
That's what it
understand.
is. When
And
you have
I
a
hope,
team and they're
yeah.
toxic. That's what it is. They're toxic girlfriends and boyfriends, and you're just like, you keep coming back to me, but I keep coming back to you, and then you keep losing me money, and then it is what it is. So I just try to stay away, which I will
Well,
probably do something live when I'm there, but
hopefully the win that they didn't need was last week, and then they lay an egg this week because this is a payback game for the Rams. They cost me a couple survivor picks earlier in the year when
wow.
Fran rolled into LA. That I mean, what a home field advantage they have there in SoFi. But the
Levi
Niners,
South.
with that.
Levi South is what they
Yeah,
call
Levi
it.
South.
exactly.
Okay,
Hey,
yeah.
it was that night, and the Niners were so shorthanded. So, San Fran's still dealing with a lot of injuries, and I don't care if it's Jones or Purdy. I don't think there's much of a difference between the two of them, to be perfectly honest with you. Everything goes through CMC. And if the Rams and McVay can't figure that out and make a correction, then I'm going to lose a lot of respect for them because all you got to do is put 8-9 in the box, let someone else beat you. Just don't let CMC. And I've been high on the Rams team all year. They're a top 3 offense.
Mhm.
The defense is second to the Texans in points allowed, just under 16 points. The Niners have covered 8 straight games against the Rams, which scares me. But I think that the Rams go in there, and I'm definitely going to be using them. I talked about the Ravens in the money line.
Mhm.
I already did my money line parlay with the Ravens and the Rams for this week.
Got it. Got it. All right. And I think Caleb is with you with the Rams.
Yeah, I excuse me, I am. I think it's Matthew Stafford's season. I don't trust Brock Purdy to even is he even gonna be back or what's going on? Do we know?
I I think it's
No, I
still
think it's
Mac.
still Mac.
Still Mac?
Still
Okay, there
Mac.
you have it. That
Mac,
answers my
yes,
question.
Mac
Perfect.
Jones. Yeah.
Mac and cheese. There you go. That's I'm a Patriots fan. I know how this story ends. Yeah, give me the Rams here. And then I gotta peace out, you guys.
All right. I know.
Thank
I
you
gotta
guys.
go.
Yep.
Thank
No,
you.
you're good.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming
All
on.
right. Yeah, good to see you again, bro. Peace out, y'all.
Um, so you got the next two, or Brad doesn't have anything, but Bobby
Close
did.
those.
But Prado, you have plus 4.5, and he's not being biased, I hope. I'm just kidding.
Well, I was gonna say to eight straight, we didn't cover that game in December. We were a 2.5 dog. We lost 12-6 in a pathetic game. Absolutely pathetic. Actually,
When was
that's
that?
the last year in December.
Oh.
The Niners were at home. They were a 2.5 point dog, and they lost 12-6 in a pathetic game. Where
Oh, that was
remember
a
they didn't scare.
shit.
No one scored a touchdown.
It is as an underdog though. Could
Mm.
that be the stat or no? They were dog then too?
Yeah, they were a dog there too.
Oh, all right. Not
Actually, we
interesting.
got swept last year by the Rams, but we
Rams?
Last year
did
you
cover
got
the first
swept,
game.
remember?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it used to be ownage, but not anymore. Remember? So it
yeah.
used to be that we used to beat.
Traditionally, Kyle, I forgot. Kyle has like a crazy run versus McVay. Um, Historically versus him, I don't know what it is against his little coaching tree. Actually, he's very successful. Even what's his name from Green Bay?
Oh,
Um,
Matt LaFleur.
yeah, Matt LaFleur.
Okay.
Is Puka playing this week?
I want to know how. That's exactly what I was going to bring up. I want to know how injured he is. That's the thing. I think he's going to play, but again,
Maybe he's limited. I
That
don't know.
that guy is a difference maker out there.
he
100%.
has a rib injury. He has an ankle.
Foot
He
injury
has
too, yeah.
He shouldn't
yeah.
play if it's going to be something that they need him for later on, but I guess it's week 10, so.
And you know what I noticed too a little bit that we don't actually talk about is Mr. Adams always traditionally doesn't do well versus the Niners.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
it's like for like
forgot
if you
that.
go,
Yeah.
yeah, you forget he's there. I know, I hear you. But because everyone's like still like
Luka. Yeah.
I just think the Niners in this spot. I was telling Brad this. Okay, aside the injuries, aside everything, why are the Rams this high of a favorite at San Francisco? Like, I'm just curious. Like
Because we
two,
suck at
three.
home.
It has it like again. You just were an 8.5 point dog. You won straight up with nobody. Now you have a little bit more
I
team, and
get
you're
you. They're
back at
not
home.
giving us the number that they
I,
should.
I just kind of feel like there's a little bit of a disrespect line. You guys talk about division games like tonight, where everyone's like, "Oh, this game, it's a division game. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Division game. The dog, the
Really hard.
points. It
I'll tell
kind
you personally, I just don't think the Niners are that good this year. I think their record's better than the team, but that's just me.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
honestly,
he's
they're not a
yeah.
superstar team. I don't think they're an elite team. I would like to see their receivers come back. Um,
Yeah. I mean, we would like to
It's
see
and
tough when you
then
don't have weapons to throw to, that's for sure.
that's
yeah.
100% tough.
But this year, I will say this: I've been very, very shocked with Kyle. He's actually grew a pair of balls. He goes for it on fourth down. We
Yeah.
actually have a kicker. And the weird thing about him is that I've never seen this before either. We have a next man up mentality, which has never been
Well,
established for
I've been
San
saying that
Francisco.
for years. And it's finally happening. And you know what? We're kind of playing like the Saints from like 2, 3 years ago, but it's not going to be good enough.
And it would just be nice to see the bandwagon LA Dodger fans just to kind of
Yeah.
crumble all together
See, and
just to
that's
get
your
lost.
narrative. Your narrative.
Yeah, I just want to see a little bit of that so then I could say, so LA, are you a baseball team or are you a
There
football
never
team?
been okay, so being from Los Angeles, I'm just gonna tell you this right now. It's never been a football team because we didn't have one. You know what I mean? So we had the Niners, the Raiders in the 90s or late 90s, and then obviously the Rams and then the Chargers. But all of those teams kind of revolved around like, oh, which one's going to be the real LA team? The real LA team is the Los Angeles Lakers. And then if you're obviously on the other side of not wanting to be a basketball fan, then it would be the Dodgers. So and any person from LA, I was born and raised in LA, so I'll tell you that right now. And this is my show, so I can say whatever the fuck I want. But 100%. Like there was no team. Like my grandma who came to America is a Raider fan because she thought that that represented LA more than any other team did. You know what I mean? And she was straight up, and you've seen her, Prado, and she'd smoke cigarettes like backwards, sit in her apron, Raiders fan, straight up.
I'm surprised. I thought you were going to actually say the Galaxy or the LA
Yeah,
Lakers.
well, but it's just it's funny because it's not a question that you ask anybody from LA. Are you like they're football fans now, obviously, because look at their stadium, look at the money that they've spent. You know,
5 billion.
like SoFi is sick. It's better than the Niners stadium, and I'm a Niner fan. That's for sure.
That
Yeah,
wasn't hard.
yeah, it's just easy. It's easy, but no. Let's move on to the next game. Sunday Night Football. Pitt versus your team, Big Pick, Chargers.
The Chargers.
3 is the spread, totals over under 45. But you're actually against, so everyone on this week is against their own team, huh? Except for Prado,
I
obviously.
think it's a good spot for them to shine Aaron on Sunday Night Football a little bit. And we just lost Joe Alt, probably the most versatile player that we've had this year, moving him over from right to left tackle. He gets hurt, we kind of suck. He comes back, we're good again. So it's like he's almost like the heartbeat of that offensive line.
Yeah,
And having him going down for the season is really going to
that's
show
terrible.
his pass rush. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do like the Steelers here, and I hate to say it.
But
yeah. Well,
it's not
basically,
just it's not just alt, right? And it's funny because I didn't necessarily have an opinion at first in this, and then the more I thought about it, obviously they lost Slater before the season started.
Yeah,
yeah,
Mekhi Becton was out last game.
yeah.
The right tackle Bobby Hart's injured as well. So, you think about Harbaugh and kind of the mentality of this team. They're kind of like a ground and pound, slam it down your
yeah,
throat,
yeah.
um, and play
Michigan Wolverine style
defense.
football.
Exactly. But I think that they're going to have a hard time this week.
Yeah.
And the Steelers defense, we saw what they did last week. I'm not saying I'm a believer in the Steelers, but they've got, enough star power on that side of the ball. And they
Mhm.
still have Rodgers, and I think they can move the ball. So I like Herbert. I like the Chargers at the end of the year. I might like them as well. But in this game, I would lean Steelers as well, getting the three.
Yeah. They've got to get healthy, dude. There's a lot of people out in that whole thing, and it's
It makes
just
the NFL tough. And you need to reassess because the Chargers were like a sneaky pick for me earlier in the year. I thought this could be a Super
same.
Bowl team. And more injuries, it's just tough to overcome. But,
They're going down. Yeah.
in 8 to 10 weeks, this team might look completely different. So
No, 100%. So, you guys just hang in there, right? Or try at least.
Just got to get healthy like later in the
They
season
do,
is
they
is the
do.
key thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, later in the season, what do you mean, like 4 weeks?
What
4 weeks. It's
do you mean? We
true.
still have like
Yeah.
what 9 more weeks technically
Eight-ish.
because you got still this weekend.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
9 more.
I
See?
know we're getting sad as it keeps.
we're at the halfway mark. We're at the
Yeah.
halfway
Yeah.
mark.
No, but we're all slowly getting sad because we're like, damn it, we're gonna have this stupid break again. Oh man. All right.
Hate it.
Next game is Monday night.
It should be a
Philly
good one.
versus Green Bay. 2.5 spread totals over under 45. I think the only person that has something is Big Pick, but Jason, we're gonna let you go first.
I don't even know if I have a play on this one, right? The Packer a little bit banged up with Golden hurt in his shoulder, and Tucker Kraft's obviously out
Mhm.
for the year now. Philly picked up some momentum, I think, here off the bye week because you got Brandon Graham coming out of his short-lived retirement. They got Jair Alexander and Jalen Phillips, so I think the defense might come out a little bit fired up. Packers embarrassed against the Panthers last week, so I'm pretty sure you're going to get a good effort out of them. I think the safest play here would be teasing Philly up to 8.5. But I'm expecting a good game. I just don't know if I'll have a play on the side.
I gotcha. And Big Pick, you have Philly money line. Just
Yeah. I know the game is in Lambeau. It's Monday Night Football. I get that, but this is the defending champs and they're a dog.
yeah,
I don't quite get the line here, so I'm gonna roll with Philly right here for now and
and
see
call
how
it a day.
the week progresses because Jordan Love looked like shit last week, and he's had those moments where he's looked really good and
Mhm.
he's looked really bad. So
Moody
uh,
moments. Yeah.
he's number
Bo
one
Nix
against the
Jr.
blitz. So as long as Philly doesn't blitz, which I think they can get home without blitzing, um, it'll be Go Birds.
All right. All right. Anything else as far as, I guess, well, actually, no, we went through every single game, I think, and then skipped over the ones we didn't like. But Jason, thank you for joining us on the show. I mean, we really appreciate you
Yeah, it was
staying
great. I
on.
appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
thank you, sir. Thank you for all the knowledge.
Yeah.
Yep.
And thanks for
Likewise, I couldn't even remember Tasting Hill. I needed you guys for that.
It's
thanks
been an afterthought.
for bringing up the contest and giving the people a little bit of hope that they could still be just anybody that joins this and then catch on fire, be great, and then actually do it. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the times they're scared to. So
No, without question. Give it a shot.
yeah. All right. Shout out or actually college pick, big pick or nothing.
Nothing.
What
We
are
Nothing.
you
haven't even
talking
looked.
about? This I know what it is. It's going to be Texas Tech to smash BYU.
Oh yeah, there
10,
you go.
11, 12,
We
13,
do like that.
14.
Ugh,
I mean,
Doesn't
yeah.
matter.
I'm the ultimate 500 college football guy. I'm rolling with Iowa against Oregon, and who was my other play? I'm so good, I can't remember who I played. It's so late now. I'm shot.
You have too much data.
No,
That's what it
that and
is.
it's also super late for him, so we gotta let him go.
Yeah, it's 1 in the morning East
But
Coast, sir.
but before we leave, and I'm sorry, Jason, I gotta say, shout out to Derek, Greg, Circa, Jeff at the sports book, Mike Palm, Aaron, and
Yes.
also David, who I met over last weekend.
Oh,
And
Rothborough. I mean,
yes,
he's an absolute stud.
awesome guy. One day I'll have him on the show. I'm trying to convince him to come on. He's like, I don't have anything to talk about like you
Oh,
guys. I'm like, you
he's
have
a great
everything to
guy.
talk about, dude.
He's a great guy.
Great guy, odds breaker Kiev, who we had last week, and then one more, our main guy Tom, Vegas football proxy. So remember to hit him up.
Mr. Carroll, the man.
He is the guy. All right. Other than that, we will see you guys again next week. Thank you again for joining, Jason, and we would look forward to having you more on the show if you
Would
can.
love it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.